He's Chase Sr. I am Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody who's been tuning in to our NFL free agency coverage here on Chat Sports. We do it because we love you guys, the fans. On today's show, we're going to get you guys caught up on everything surrounding the Tennessee Titans, the latest news and rumors. And Chase, this kind of emerged as a possibility last night. Robert Woods, could the Titans trade for him? Well, after the Rams signed Allen Robinson, Adam Schefter reports that Robert Woods could become available on the trade market.
It's a really good wide receiver who, prior to getting hurt last year, was having a spectacular season. I love his versatility. He can play outside, inside. This is what Adam Schefter had to say after signing Allen Robinson today. Rams begin receiving calls about the availability for Robert Woods, who is now a prime trade candidate per league sources. Woods is coming off the torn ACL, but is expected to be ready by training camp. Spectacular route runner. I talked about him being an outside-inside guy, great hands, good missability after the catch as he can pick up some yards. And the reason that we're talking about Robert Woods, you paid big money last year to Julio Jones. Harrison, that's a move that didn't work out. You paid him around $14-15 million, and you let him go. So now you have a void to fill at wide receiver, and you need to bring in another complementary piece next to A.J. Brown, and you combine that on top of the fact that you have Ryan Tannehill, who's about a middle-tier quarterback and has shown he can play very good football when surrounded with really good pieces. You enter Robert Woods into the fold alongside A.J. Brown and with Derrick Henry, with a good offensive line, a spectacular defense, the most underrated head coach in the National Football League in Mike Vrabel for the defending number one seeded Tennessee Titans in the AFC. He could really add a lot to this offense.
Look, Robert Woods, if you bring him into the fold, that's a really good recovery from moving on from Julio. I respect the Titans' aggressiveness last offseason to bring Julio in there. He couldn't stay healthy. He's had some injury-riddled years over the past couple of years. But I actually think Robert Woods, who is also coming off an injury, a torn ACL, if healthy, could actually be a better fit in Tennessee. Why? Well, we know Julio at this point, 33, injuries pop up for him too. What is Robert Woods really good at? He's an excellent route runner, runs those deep crossers. I think that fits Ryan Tannehill's skill set as a weapon next to A.J. Brown, who's going to draw a lot of attention moving forward in this offense. And I think Woods is like the textbook number 2 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
Good route runner, gets open, catches everything, QB's best friend. This is a really good player. Before last year, he had a couple of really good years in a row as the Rams deserve a lot of credit for kind of developing him, because early on in his career, people were calling him a bust. And then, heading into last season, people were calling him a top 20, top 25 receiver in the NFL. You bring him in here, A.J. Brown has risen to wide receiver 1 status in the National Football League. He's your 2. You got Derrick Henry pounding the rock. Yep. This offense recovers very, very nicely after having to move on from Julio Jones. So what do you guys think? Should the Titans trade for Robert Woods? Type Y for yes, type N for no. And real quick, what do you think a trade looks like for Woods? Second-round pick?
I would deal a second-round pick for Robert Woods.
Yeah.
He's under an affordable contract because the salary cap continues to go up, and I think he's a really good player.
Type Y for yes, type N for no. Should Tennessee trade for Robert Woods? Now, obviously, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but Devontae Adams, a big-name receiver, if you were hoping for some pipe dream to trade for him, that's not going to happen as he has been traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. He's now in the AFC, so potentially Tennessee will have to face him a little bit more frequently now as we move forward. First and a second-round pick for Adams, which isn't that much. So when you're thinking about a guy like Robert Woods, Chase, I think just a second, maybe even a third, maybe a third and a fourth or something like that could get it done for a guy coming off an injury.
Yeah, you would think that's about really the road there in a potential trade. Yeah, but, for Tennessee, I'm a believer in this football team. I'm a believer in John Schneider and how he's built the roster. I'm a huge believer in Mike Vrabel. I think the Tennessee Titans can be a consistent winner. Last year, look, fluky game against the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL playoffs. You had that number 1 seed, and Evan McPherson, you're still drowning in your sorrows after watching that kick go through the uprights. But it was a weird game, especially at the end with how Ryan Tannehill threw that pick, and then Joe Burrow leads them down the field, gets a couple of yards for that field goal. The Titans are in a good spot, Harrison, and I'm a believer in this team moving forward, and I think that they're going to be contenders once again in the AFC next year.
Look, you get a bounce back year from Tannehill, you're going to be
That's
in a
what
good
you need.
spot.
Yeah.
This is why you subscribe to Tennessee Titans Today here by Chat Sports on YouTube, youtube.com/Titans Today if you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel as we roll along here on day 5 of NFL free agency. Listen, producer Jack has been grinding. He has a ton of responsibilities here at Chat Sports. He's also in charge
Straight
of our
up
Titans
killing
channel.
the game, dude.
Killing the game. Titans news, rumors, free agency coverage, trade buzz, live Q&As. He's got it all covered. YouTube.com/Titans today. When the Titans make moves, we cover it, just like when we covered the Julio Jones news, Chase, when he obviously got released the other day as a post-June 1 designation, and that's why the Robert Woods trade rumors have circulated.
Yeah, because you let go of Julio, and now you need another wide receiver, and you just didn't get what you paid for Julio Jones. You didn't get what you expected. But you kind of saw this coming, because he was on that downward trajectory, Harrison. I mean, he had a couple of elite years there in 2015 and 2016 with Kyle Shanahan. He's had an NFL Hall of Fame caliber career, but the production has gone down and the injuries have gone up for Julio Jones. And that was part of the risk. That was part of the gamble that you were wagering when you made that trade for Julio. Now, you gave up a second-round pick for Julio, and you paid him a lot of money. It didn't work out, but now that's why you make the trade for Robert Woods if you're interested in going that route.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear Titans need a wide receiver too now. And by the way, let me just mention this. I think the gamble is absolutely worth it for Tennessee. It didn't work out with Julio.
Robert Woods is a better player right now than Julio Jones.
Yeah, but I'm saying when they traded for Julio, that was worth it.
Yeah.
It didn't work, but like Tennessee felt like they might be one big player away from winning a Super Bowl. Who knows? If Julio's healthy last year, maybe that team goes on a run. They won the regular season in the AFC. They were the #1 seed. So this is not a team that is super far off from playing in a Super Bowl. You replace him. You continue to rely on Derrick Henry. You hope Ryan Tannehill bounces back after a down year after 2 excellent years the years before. I think we'll find out this year just how much of an impact Arthur Smith had on Tannehill. Can he figure things out under a new OC in year 2? If he can, then this team should be able to contend here in 2022. So grade the Titans' moves so far. A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know down in the comments section. And real quick before we end this Titans segment here, Chase, these are kind of some of the free agent receivers we're talking about here. If you don't want to trade for a Robert Woods, you still have good names out there. Juju, I like Jarvis Landry. Emmanuel Sanders still has a little bit something left.
Yeah.
Will Fuller's risky with the injuries, but when he's healthy, he can take the top off of defense.
Jack, great job by you. Great idea with this graphic. Juju, Will Fuller, Jarvis Landry, Emmanuel Sanders, Jamison Crowder. You look at these players right here, all different skill sets. You have a slot wide receiver in Juju. You have a vertical threat in Will Fuller. Another slot in Jarvis Landry, who has had more production than Juju in recent years, although coming off some injuries last year. Emmanuel Sanders, quick but older. And then Jamison Crowder, I think is somewhat underrated. You know who else is available? Odell Beckham Jr.
Ooh.
Now, was able to revive his career with the Rams last year. A lot of people thought he was cooked, and he made Baker Mayfield look bad by going to the Rams and putting up monster numbers. But I think OBJ can still play. The concern, 2 ACL injuries in that same knee. How does he come back off those 2 surgeries? And as he continues to get older, look, he's had some injuries as well, and the Titans may be a little bit scared of that because of the Julio Jones saga.
The concern isn't just the 2 ACLs; it's also the when's he going to be back from
Exactly
this
right.
one.
Yeah,
Like there's
because
reports saying
happened in the Super Bowl.
There's reports saying he may not be ready till November. Hell, some guys recover differently. With this being the second one, it's possible he doesn't play this year.
Yeah.
So all of that factors in if you're the Tennessee Titans. So name a player the Titans should sign. Obviously, receiver the focus here on today's show. And also, don't forget to subscribe, youtube.com/Titans today.